my gosh, that's kind of cool. So I was like, hey, narun ka nam. And so it's like funny, like zoomed out of our house, it was all and like goes across the world, all and it gets to like the continent of India, and it starts zooming in and like zooms into the south, because the state Kerala is like right on the tip on the south. It starts zooming in, like you see it like zooming in past cities and stuff. And then it started zooming into like the screen area of the map, and it just kept on going in, and it just stopped like on top of trees. And I was like, that's it? And my cousin's all like, that's where you're going, cuz. I was like, wow, it's a jungle. So I had no idea where I was going. Like, that's like the only picture I found. And I got on a plane, and I was just like, all right, let's see where this takes me. I didn't know anybody that was going. I knew there was going to be another volunteer from Singapore, which honestly, at that point, I didn't really know where Singapore was in the world. I just knew I was in Asia. So I had no idea where I was going or with who. And I think that's one of the fears we have, like, when you're going to be a missionary or when you're considering it. You're like, well, you know, what am I going to do? I'm so young and unexperienced, and like, what could I possibly contribute? And like, I feel so weak. So there's this story I like. All right, I'm going to start telling it. It's found in 2 Kings chapter 5, and I'm going to start on verse 1. Now Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great and honorable man in the eyes of his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but a leper. And the Syrians had gone out on raids and had brought back captive a young girl from the land of Israel. She waited on Naaman's wife. Okay, now it isn't going to tell us what this young girl's name is, but I think from like these couple of verses we can deduce a few things from her. This is the New King James Version, but in the King James Version it says a maiden. She was a maiden. So in those times, like, a maiden means like an unmarried girl. And back in that time, girls usually married at a pretty young age, like in the early teens. So the fact she's a maiden, it's kind of safe to assume she must have been like 11 or 12. So this is like a young girl. It also said that she waited on Naaman's wife. Now Naaman is the captain of the king's army. He's like high up there. He like lives in Beverly Hills. He would not have like a slacker working for him, right? Or just like a nobody. So this girl has got to be like pretty tough. She's a hard worker, and you know, she must have pretty good qualities if Naaman's keeping her around. Okay, so then this is what she says. Then she said to her mistress, if only my master were with the prophet who is in Samaria, for he would heal him of his leprosy. Okay, something else that's kind of cool. This is like the only quote we have that we can know that she said. But it says that he would heal him of his leprosy. She's telling Naaman's wife that this prophet that she knows would heal Naaman of his leprosy. That's like a pretty sure statement. And what I found kind of fascinating is like, even nowadays, you're never going to have a doctor that tells you like, if you take this treatment, it's going to heal you. They say maybe. They say you have like a 60% chance. You're never going to have a doctor that says like, this treatment is going to cure you of your cancer, or it's going to cure you of AIDS. Because you just don't make statements like that, especially with serious diseases like this. But this girl had such an awesome faith that she says, he's going to be cured. And I think this girl's pretty amazing because she's like 12 years old. She was taken from her family. She's living in a foreign land. She doesn't know anybody. She's a slave. And yet she keeps her faith. And not only that, she has the power to witness. She tells Naaman's wife. But the story gets cooler. I just love the story. Okay, this is what happens next. Apparently Naaman's wife tells Naaman what this girl said, because the next verse says, and Naaman went in and told his master, saying, thus and thus said the girl who is from the land of Israel. Okay, so apparently now Naaman believes what his wife said, which was what the girl said. So Naaman, the captain of the army of Syria, is believing this young girl. And he goes to his master, who is the king of Syria, because verse 5 says, then the king of Syria said, go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. Okay, now the king of Syria is believing what this 12-year-old girl is saying, this slave girl. We don't even know her name, by the way. Do you see this like ripple effect that's going on? The girl just has the guts to just say something, it goes up to the higher person that's next up. It goes up to the king, and the king has enough faith in what she's saying to even write a letter for his captain, so he takes to the king. Okay, so it says, he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. Then he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which said, Now be advised, when this letter comes to you, that I have sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may heal him of his leprosy. That you may heal him of his leprosy. See how much faith the king also has now? He's saying like, yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to heal him. Okay, it gets a little sad now because, okay, you think these people in Syria, like they're having all this faith in what this girl's saying, so for sure when she gets to Israel, the land where her faith originated from, they're going to be like, yeah, of course, of course he's going to be healed. But check out what happens. Verse 7, And it happened, when the king of Israel read the letter, that he tore his clothes, and he said, Am I God, to kill and make alive, that this man sends a man to me to heal him of his leprosy? Therefore please consider and see how he seeks a quarrel with me. Can you believe it? The king of Israel, who is the king representing the Most High God, he like breaks this chain of faith. And it's kind of sad how it just started from this 12-year-old girl, and it's building up, and you get to someone of the faith, and he doesn't believe it. And I think that's kind of how it is in our experience sometimes. But thankfully, when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Why have you torn your clothes? Please let him come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. And you guys know the rest of the story, of course. Naaman goes to see Elijah, and he tells him to bathe, and he goes no, but he decides to do it, and he gets healed. And it's an amazing story because he goes back to his country, and he's like a living testament to what God can do. But the story is so amazing because it all started with that 12-year-old girl. And all she did was what she knew best, just to talk about her faith. So there I was in India, and I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. I just had packed a whole bunch of random school supplies because I didn't even know what grades I was going to be teaching or what subjects or anything. And I just got there, and I remembered this quote that I always liked that said, note to myself, do what I know best. And so, I just got there and I did my best. And that's really what you have to do because God works the rest. And he creates this ripple effect. And he will use like all your abilities for good and stuff. And I was like holding a pencil right now, and I was like, why am I holding a pencil still? Because I guess it was like my little security blanket or something. I don't even have paper to write on. All I brought is like a Bible and a pencil. I don't know for what. But all of a sudden I remembered this quote by Mother Teresa, who said, I am but God's pencil. And what does that mean? It means we're just like, like a little chewed up wooden pencil. But you let God use you, and you're like a magical utensil, You can write your own story of adventures and stuff when you go out in the world. And that's what it's like to be a missionary, You just have to be this, and God will work his magic through you. So my message for you guys tonight is basically like, if you're feeling the tug to go out and stuff, just go. You don't have to worry about anything else, just go. You don't have to change who you are. You don't have to take a whole bunch of prep courses. You just really need to maybe sharpen yourself a bit or something. I don't know, but God will do the rest. You just have to have faith and go. And it'll be an amazing experience.